Respect, not your genuine love, respect page. I truly appreciate your time. To the genuine ones, like, comment, subscribe. Hey, you hate in disguise. Listen, we don't do drama over here, respectfully. So do us a favor. Return back to sender. Same for your mama. It's just that simple. Respectfully. Listen, this page is not for everybody, and that's okay. It's not a crime. Respectfully. It's not a crime to be entitled to freedom of speech. Respectfully. You know, just because a parent, in some cases, provides for a child at the end of the day, once that child feels like they're not loved, you could do everything that you're supposed to do as a parent, but when you don't show that child love, or you're not emotionally available for that child, that energy hit different. Just because you feel like you showing your child love at the end of the day by doing what you're supposed to do as a parent, and that child doesn't physically hear I love you, or let alone you show them, besides doing what you're supposed to do as a parent, making sure you provide a roof over their head, making sure there's food in the fridge, making sure they have clothes on their back. When you don't show that child love, and I mean unconditional love, I'm not saying financially supporting them wise, but emotionally. When you're not emotionally available to your child, at the end of the day, they're going to feel alone. They're going to feel alone. No disrespect. So you may feel like you may know your child on so many different levels at the end of the day, but the one thing you forgot to do is show your emotions towards your child, to show them that you love them. Because you're so closed off and you don't know how to be emotional, because you're so used to being strong for yourself. Or you never had someone show you that. So you don't know how to show your child love, besides just being a parent. You know, it's unfortunate that people feel like, in some cases, that because they provide a roof over a child's head, or they put food in the fridge or whatever, that's love. Those are the tools that we need in life to survive. And that's what you're showing your child, is those are the tools that you need to survive in life. But when you miss that one part, to show up for your child, to show them that emotion of love, once that's overlooked at the end of the day, you have a problem within a problem at the end of the day. Respectfully. Or you're showing up for that child and you're not showing that child the emotional stage as to I love you, or showing that child I'm going to understand how you're feeling, like how you feel, your emotions and stuff. Like, if you're not having conversations with your child like that, it's unhealthy. No disrespect. And in some cases, you have some parents who don't mind saying they love their child. You have some parents who actually sits down with their children and speak to their children. When a child doesn't trust you, once they were overlooked when it came to that certain department, they're going to tell you that they're fine. They're going to tell you that they're okay, because they don't trust you. They don't trust you. They don't trust you. No disrespect, they don't. And especially if you was one of the people who disrespected your child within the process, or not even showing up with that emotion of showing love, and you disrespected your child in an unhealthy way, like, it's more than just calling them out their name. You know, it's certain types of disciplines out here when disciplining a child. But to bring harm towards your child where it's blood being drawn from your child's body, that's a problem. That's traumatizing. How do you feel like that child is supposed to trust you? No disrespect. How do you feel like that child is supposed to confide in you when they have a problem? They don't trust you. So being that they were overlooked in the department of when it came to the emotions part where you're supposed to show up on that part, you know? But then on top of it, you were one of the people who allowed your own child to feel like they couldn't confide in you. No disrespect. It may not have been intentionally. But when your anger flares up, you can't control yourself because you don't have control. You don't know how to control yourself. You don't got control issues. You know, when you have control issues, you know, you don't know how to balance your control issues and stuff like that. And you're putting too much force into that child to hurt that child because you got so much built up anger within you to draw blood from your own child. You really believe that that child is going to trust you. You really believe that child's going to confide in you. It's going to be certain things that they're not going to speak upon because they don't trust you. They may tell you what they want you to hear, but they're not going to tell you everything that you should hear, respectfully. When you lose your child's trust, that energy hit different. And it's so crazy and disturbing to hear how, well, that's my child and and I'm the parent and all this and the third. At the end of the day, respect is a two-way street. Respect is a two-way street. That child is not being disrespectful towards you. That child is not bringing harm towards you. That child just wanted to be loved. That's it. But it's the norm. When a certain individuals or certain people come from a background that nobody showed them love in a healthy way, or they're just used to people playing in their face and that's their norm, they don't know how to show someone their emotions, like when it's time to genuinely show your emotions, and especially to your own child. You know, and some people don't have that emotion button within them because they're so used to being strong and all they know how to do is be strong, but the person you're supposed to show love to is your child. And you didn't show that child love. You did everything you were supposed to do as a parent. So you say. You provided a roof, put food in the fridge. We get it. But once that child feels like they was disrespected and they didn't do anything to you, or even if they did do something to you at the end of the day, even if they did do something to you, people make mistakes, right? But when you physically, emotionally are not, when you emotionally not available to your child, it's a trust issue thing right there. It will always be a trust issue thing. But then when you bring harm towards your child, not just a regular spanking and all of that, when it starts to progress into their adulthood and you still have animosity towards your child, trying to fight them like a stranger in the street, that energy hit different. Respectfully. It's one thing being disciplined as a child, but then when that child becomes an adult and that parent is still closed off with the emotions of trying to even show that they love that child, and all they doing within the process is disrespecting that child when they feel like it because they don't like something, Like, make it make sense. I never understood stuff like this. You tell your child to go do the dishes, right? How do you beat the hell out of your child for doing it, for them not doing the dishes how you want your child to do the dishes? A child, 10, 11, 12-year-old child, 9, 8-year-old child doing dishes, right? And you beat them because they didn't wash a plate properly, it was still greasy. Ma'am, sir, in the process of you trying to show your child responsibility at the end of the day to do chores, you just traumatized your own fucking child. Respectfully. Because they was off guard with it too. Like, why would you want to hurt me for? That's how your child was looking at you. Why would you want to hurt me? No disrespect. Over dishes? Dishes? Wow. The norm. The dysfunction of the norm. When you're not used to someone showing up for you, you don't understand. You will never be able to understand. Because when you need somebody to be emotionally available to you, and you was looking at from your parents, and they didn't show you, all they did was overlook you at the end of the day. You know, everybody's walk of life is different. But because someone didn't show you love, or someone disciplined you in an unhealthy way at the end of the day, and it did bring trauma to you. It brought trauma to you. You know, we're not pointing a finger as to who did what, when they did what, when, what, how, and all that. But if you was one of those people who were overlooked, or you had a missing parent who didn't want to show up for you, they didn't know how to be emotionally available to you, and all they try to do is play mind games with you and shit like that, or allow you to feel like you was unworthy of yourself, it's not your fault. It's not. You're an amazing person. You came this far. You came this far without your mother. You came this far without your father. You came this far without support. You came this far. Regardless to how your upbringing was as a child, and you know, you dealt with abandonment issues, trust issues as your journey began, going into your adulthood, and people treating you like you was a punching bag when they felt like it, because they felt like it. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. And nobody deserves to be punched around like a punching bag. Nobody deserves it. Nobody. Because at the end of the day, don't nobody own you. Nobody. Respectfully. Because if you was ever overlooked, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't. And it's unfortunate that the people that you encounter, that you come across, are people that resemble your parents. When it comes to respect, when it comes to abandonment issues, those are the people that you're attracted into your life, or that you have attracted into your life. Or you settled for less because of things that you saw in your childhood and you thought it was your norm. It's not the norm. It's not the norm to disrespect somebody you love. It's not the norm. It's not the norm. It's not the norm. It's nowhere near the norm. It's not the norm to sit here and psych somebody out their thought process. It's not the norm. It's not the norm to sit here and play verse psychology on your child and try to psych them out their thought process. It's not the norm. It's not. But because you was overlooked, I'm proud of you. Because it wasn't easy. And all you want to do is show up and be genuinely at peace with yourself. And you can. You genuinely can. You know, having excuses after excuse after excuse to cover up what somebody did to you at the end of the day, it's only hurting yourself. You're not playing along with their game anymore. For what? It's no secret. You experienced it. It happened. And you came this far in life. Regardless of how they try to cover it up or how they try to make you seem in front of everybody else at the end of the day, it don't matter. It happened. It was your life experience that your parent didn't show you love. Emotionally. They was not emotionally available for you. It's okay to acknowledge that. It's not bashing them. It's not. It's not disrespecting them. It's not. But that was your experience. And can't nobody take your experience away from you. Respectfully. Even if they try to say they forgot, they don't remember, whatever the case may be, it happened and they know it would happen. They just don't want to speak upon it. But to allow yourself to psych yourself out of your thought process when you got control over your life today, protect your energy. Protect your energy. Protect it, protect it, protect it. Because you're deserving of that. You're deserving of that. You're deserving to protect your energy. Because you had abandonment issues. You had abandonment issues. You had trust issues. You never understood. You never knew what it would genuinely be to be at self-peace with yourself. Something that you always genuinely asked for was to genuinely be at peace with yourself. But the trauma was so heavy that it really impacted your life. It really did. Maybe you had that parent that didn't want to be in your life, and they made it very clear that I am not your father. I am not your mother. Or you had that parent who always spoke upon as, I wish you motherfuckers just go away and leave me the fuck alone and I never return back. You know what that does to a child? Especially a child. To hear those things that their parents are saying about them. It's traumatizing. You're not crazy. You're not delusional for trying to express how you feel. But they're not ready for that conversation. And it's okay. It's not about holding a past and holding on to the past and all that. Don't let nobody psych out your thought process and allow you to believe that. Because it's only a manipulation mind thing. Respectfully. Because your experience was your experience. And you need to heal from your experience. Until you get that off your chest and physically, emotionally, spiritually get it out of you, it's gonna be there. It ain't got nothing to do about how long it transpired within transpiring. As long as you did not heal from it, and the only way for you to heal from it is for it to come to the surface. So for somebody to tell you like, yo, that shit's a transpired like 20 years ago, 40 years ago. Why the fuck are you talking about it now? One thing's for certain, two things for sure. You do not need nobody's approval, or you don't need nobody's okay to understand at the end of the day, the answers that you need is right in front of your face. They did what they did, when they did what they did at the end of the day, and they don't want to speak upon it, or unfortunately, they're no longer here. But you have to heal from it. You have to. When you're ready. When you're genuinely ready to heal. Your healing process is not going to be easy. It never allows someone inside of your thought process to allow you to believe it's going to be an overnight process, because it would never be an overnight process. Respectfully, never. Never, 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 never. And dealing with that type of trauma, it's going to be deeper than that. Because stuff that's going to be resurfacing from your childhood to your present. So if you never took care of none of that, you got a lot of deep healing to do. Respectfully. You know, sometimes in life, we have to just accept the situation for what it is. We don't want to be sick because someone tried to psych us about our thought process, or somebody betrayed us, or somebody manipulated us. Nah. Why you want to be sick because of that? You don't want to be sick because your mother didn't show you love, your father didn't show you love. You don't want to be sick because at the end of the day, like they said, they're going to live their life regardless. And they showing you that they're living their life happily with no care in the world. Like nothing ever happened. Remember, they got the mask on. You don't want to wear that mask anymore. Let them wear it. It's looking pretty well on them. But you don't want to wear it. Take that mask off. Be yourself. It's not a crime to be yourself. And it's no secret at the end of the day. The truth is the truth. What's the secret? What? Your father didn't want to be in your life? That ain't no secret. That's the truth. What the fuck? Like, make it make sense, ma'am, sir. Your mother didn't tell you she loves you? That's no secret. It's the truth. It's nothing a secret. Once it's exposed, it's no secret. Once you saw what you saw, it's no secret. It happened. It happened. That's your experience. It is what it is. No disrespect. But at the end of the day, when you heal, can't nobody take that away from you. They gonna be mad though. Because it's a different type of glow that's gonna be within you that they ain't gonna be able to understand. Like, you overcame all of that. Because you still having your days within your days at the end of the day, not really showing up for yourself the way you're supposed to. You fake happy. You're miserable. You're depressed. You're making yourself sick. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy, it's unhealthy, it's unhealthy. This is not to bash nobody at the end of the day. Respectfully. But your experience is your experience, and this page ain't for everybody. It's just that simple. So at the end of the day, like I said what I said when I said what I said, save your comments for your mama. It's just that simple. Hello? Just because you have never experienced that, or you're not that type of person, don't mean somebody has not experienced it. No disrespect. You do have people in this world who have abandonment issues because folks done walked out on their life. Or you have abandonment issues regardless if a parent is present or not. Just because a parent is present don't mean that child is not getting the attention that they're supposed to be getting. Some people do get overlooked. And I say that respectfully, not bashing nobody. Respect is respect at the end of the day. It's life. It's life. Because people have experienced it. People have experienced it. Just because you haven't experienced it you had two parents in a household and they showed you love, and you don't understand why that person going through that and why would they be saying that or whatever the case may be, mind your business. You haven't experienced it. That's it. Good for you. Toodles to you. Like, make it make sense at the end of the day. You want a fucking reward? Like, hello? It's the thought process for me at the end of the day. Like, stay in your lane. Just because what you experienced at the end of the day don't mean everybody's walk of life was the same way. It's not a crime to respect your neighbor. It's not a crime. It's not a crime to respect your neighbor. It's not a crime. You ain't gotta like your neighbor. Respect your neighbor. The same way you want somebody to respect you and your folks. Respectfully, excuse me. It's not a crime. And just because you don't understand someone's walk of life, because they may have had abandonment issues, or they have had, they didn't have somebody show them love, or they didn't have those type of people in place that were in their life, or if they did have those type of people in their life, and it was only for a temporary situation and stuff like that within a process of their journey, life happens. Life happens. And one thing's for certain, two things for sure. Never allow someone to suck up your thought process, because you have awareness within yourself. Respectfully. It's okay to have self-awareness. It's okay. It's okay to be aware of yourself. No disrespect. Respect your neighbor. Respect your neighbor. Never allow someone to psych you out of your thought process because you genuinely love yourself in a healthy way because they're miserable. Never allow someone to psych you out of your freedom because you genuinely love yourself in a healthy way because they're miserable. Never allow someone to psych you out of your thought process because you genuinely love yourself in a healthy way because they're miserable. Loving yourself is not a crime. Just because someone gave up on you, don't give up on yourself. Just because someone overlooked you, don't give up on yourself. You are genuinely loved by all the right people. You are genuinely respected by all the right people. You deserve to be treated with respect 365 days with no malicious intention to bring harm towards yourself and others around you. I truly appreciate your time. Now you genuinely love respect. Respect your neighbor. It's not a crime. Respect. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Have a safe remaining week. I appreciate your time.